just can't shake some clients. Here we are, back to Bill's place. He's telling me he's having some trouble with his big red international truck. Bill and I discussed this truck last year, and we never got around to doing anything with it. You know, I've always liked it from the minute I saw it. It's just one of those things, like what guy doesn't like a big old truck?
I've been trying to sell it and not really had any luck. I love it a lot. Nobody else seems to think it's that cool. These 1953 survivors are so rare. They're always beat up, torn up, wrecked. And when I saw this, I went, oh my gosh, look how original this darn thing is. And I guess I'm kind of hooked on the international heavy-duty name, and I don't understand why people aren't as enthusiastic as I am. I thought it would sell the first day.
You just need someone just like you,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
they'll buy it.
Yeah.
You know, I love the huge factor of the whole thing. It's got kind of a Mad Max Road Warrior feel to it, but maybe that's a turnoff to some folks.
Well, when I found this, I was so excited. Look at the cab, Ian. It's cherry. I mean, original cherry. You just don't find it.
That's right, it's
And,
weathered, but...
you know, the doors, everything works perfect. Look at the interior.
You know, sometimes when you have something that's so close to your heart, your passion, it's kind of hard to see how things are from the outside. Some people may be a little bit put off by the sheer amount of spider webs. You know, it looks a little like a haunted house in there. I think it needs some kind of cosmetic upgrade, you know, like the typical used car salesman. He's gonna freshen it up, and I think we can move it. First thing I want to do is get this rig back to the shop. You know, I want to tear off all that heavy metal, get it down to a blank slate, and see what we're dealing with. I know you're both very concerned with quality control, etc., but I've got a bunch of stuff to do. We don't even need any debate at this point. I don't want to hear it. I'm not sure what I'm going to do back here 100%. What I do know is the heavy stuff, this massive trailer hitch, doesn't need it. Doesn't need this trailer hitch, and it doesn't need that headache rack. My goal is to get all of this baggage off the rear of the truck. You know, just get it down to the chassis, and then I can build from there. Hi-ya! And this is a really heavy, filthy job. But come on, who doesn't like cutting stuff up? Change is tough. You know, these dogs love cars, and all they hear is destruction. So for my next act, I'll remove an exhaust pipe. This exhaust has to go. It's not fitting my vision of the final outcome. That one ain't going in the trash. Excuse me. Now we're going on to the thing I'm looking most forward to getting rid of. This headache rack is a no bueno. Winner! The truck is looking good. It's much lighter feeling. This is the blank slate I saw from the start. Now the cab is really showing itself off. This is awesome. You know, that big rack was hiding all this cool sheet metal, and fortunately, protected it. No dents, no rust. You know, this truck has tons of possibility. It's looking good, and I got some ideas brewing. Well, nothing starts a good project like a good treasure hunt.
When I collected all this stuff, you know, I thought, oh, well, I can use this for that, or pretty specific about it. Well, Ian, I mean, he's different. And I don't even ask him what he's gonna do. Don't wanna know what he's gonna do. Just wanna watch.
Oh, you got bigger sheets under here. Nice little mouse nest, look at this. I know there's gonna be a large area in the bed of this truck that we're gonna have to fill in. So these big metal sheets are gonna be exactly what I need. Like a diamond in the rough. Nothing says truck like diamond plate, so I think it's a good start for, you know, sheathing materials. Let's see what else we can find. I know this rack here, and I know you got some stuff. Mainly what I'm interested in is these long lengths of tubing. Any project's gonna need some structure, so this is heavy truck stuff. If you're not married to them, I can use them.
All this stuff is available.
Wait a second, you got bed frames here.
Got bed frames.
I need a bed frame. I have a mattress and a box spring.
You're in the right spot.
I just bought a new place and I pretty much need everything. So Bill's got these 2 bed frames, so I'm in luck. You think it'll do a queen size?
I think it's adjustable.
Oh, yes, yeah. Oh, look at these steps. What are these from?
Those are, I don't know what they're from.
I know what they're for. Look at that.
Yeah.
You got a whole truck sitting here. It's just in pieces.
Ian kind of looked around and he said, oh, you got this, you got that. You got almost enough for the build. I didn't think I had that much junk laying around here.
What's that from?
I don't remember.
Typical. You know, we've just scratched the surface of Bill's treasure. You know, many a project has been fueled by the treasures of this wild land. Bill's upper 40 has got some stuff. In addition to the piles of stuff, Bill has a couple storage containers as well. Behind door number 1, I find these cool old cabinets. And the thing is, I'm not counting anything out yet. We're looking at all the potential. We are merely priming the palette of potential. So everything's going to the shop. Well, we've got quite an assortment of goodness, you know, between the metal, the diamond plate, shopping cart rack, 2 cabinets. We're on a roll. I'll get back to the lab and start configuring.
I'm going to be very excited to watch this project and see what he does.
Mush! Mush!
He's a one of a kind.
We got this. This is a really nice change of pace from the other projects I've been working on lately. Instead of building this full custom fantasy show car, I'm challenged to just bring up the natural look of this old truck. I did yank that bumper off the other truck, and I also got some good rusty steel, all that I could find. That front grille, just like the rear end, is just way overkill. I'd really like to show off the international styling instead of this big, angry-looking death bumper. First task at hand is to get rid of this massive front bumper. Yeah! Move it, move it, move it, move it, move it, move it. This bumper is really heavy. You know, I'm used to sacrificing for my projects, but I don't want to lose a toe if this bumper comes crashing down. Watch the paint. Well, now it's starting to look a little more like a vintage truck, not some road menace. The stock height on that truck, the frames were right here, which is cool, it makes sense, but I'd like to see it a little bit lower. The whole idea here is to make the truck appear closer to the ground. This international bumper could work with some modifications, but you know, I just want to explore the other options, you know, maybe just do something a little more full custom. This still just looks way like utility bumper. What if I took this and just turned it? Yeah, that's cool. Brings it down a little, looks lightweight. It actually makes the fenders look really exaggerated now, which is something I wasn't expecting. But so far, my assistants aren't impressed. I get you can't just slap a tube on the front of a truck and call it a bumper. I mean, come on, they should know by now. I'm not gonna just stop here. Make that angle like that. The old persuader. Yeah, so you can see, it's gotta come back just a bit more. Just cut right through that and trim it a little more. Not only do the bumper ends need to match the front of the truck, they need to match the other side of the bumper so that it's symmetrical. This is the process of trial and error. You just keep cutting and bending until the angle's right. It's looking good to me, sir. It's gonna be fine. Next step of fabrication is to trim off the bumper end. As strange as it seems, this random piece of bent aluminum is gonna be the gauge. I mean, I seriously just picked this up out of the corner. You need to be zen, in tune with the universe and beyond, to allow yourself to be open to this happy accident thing, you know? Or sometimes maybe you just find a piece of bent molding in the corner and it seems to work. That's the angle of the dangle. You saw it, man. Don't act like it's a surprise. So there's something in this area that I'm really thinking about. See how this and this, it's like it needs something here. Fortunately, Bill's place isn't too far from the shop. I want to take another look at his pipe rack and found some really good square stainless steel tube that I think I can make work. It's exactly what it needed. It's subtle, but it helps. Get the end caps on and it really finishes it off. But right now it's conservative. You can see that's a clean bumper. I want this whole truck to come together as one piece, so for now it's a work in progress. I got some other ideas that are really going to help with the look of the front end. The primary factor in creating this visor is how the material will bend without any tooling. I want a nice formed shape, and that's why I'm using this soft but very rigid plastic as a template. That'll work. I have a sheet of aluminum that will be just the right call for this visor. This is a reasonably difficult shape to make simply because it's symmetrical. The different PVC sizes are helping me to try to form the shape I'm looking for. Just like the top corner of that cap, you see it's a dome, and it's going to require a dome shape to turn that corner. This is an anything goes process. I don't know what result will be offered. I'm just going for it. It's just high spot right there. The hardest part about this is the symmetry. As each fold comes down, they have to look the same. And from the front of the truck, you don't want it to be doing the roller coaster. You want it to look right. It's making the visor appear way more crooked than it is because the light set is on this side of the roof. The biggest problem I was having getting this visor equal left and right was that as much as I put it on the table and envisioned it, every time it went on the truck, it looked like it was off to the side. I just couldn't figure it out until I really studied the placement of the marker lights, and they're over here. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start trimming this one and pulling it down. So those 2 points are fixed. I'm just gonna pull this down to match. So there you have it, one full custom visor. This is exactly what I was hoping to see. It took that big arched up window and makes it look a little more aggressive. This looks like it could just be a little more graceful in that this line will probably just come up like that. Maybe in the end I'll put a little center bracket on it, but right now that's perfect. We got other things to deal with.
Aha! So you have been working.
Yeah, a couple revisions, nothing too major, but change it up a little bit.
Wow.
Surprise, surprise.
I love the stance. It looks like you lowered it, how much?
It's gotta be 3 or 4 inches, I forgot.
Yeah, because it was way above the tire. I love that old truck.
Yeah.
And you've just made it better.
Glad to see Bill react so positively. We literally had no discussion as to what I was gonna do.
This is like all your projects. You do them and then I want to keep them. The idea was to sell this.
I'm hearing whisperings from Bill about maybe trying to hold on to this thing, The big plan was to sell it, but now it looks so good, maybe he's buying. I don't know, maybe it's gonna stay home.
I got a present for you for this.
Right on.
It'll help the look of your stance.
Uh-huh.
And let me show you.
Cool. This is the kind of thing that really just explains this car or truck addiction perfectly. Oh, wow, these are cool. These are perfect. Yes,
Just a
Alcoves.
little bling.
Good deal. You can't just stop halfway, right? And Bill's a man with a passion. He steps up every time and brings the good stuff.
These are 22.5 rims, but the tires are a little smaller. They're for a motorhome, actually. I'm working on something for the back, but I'm not gonna share that yet. Want to get them on there?
Yeah, for sure. Mostly what this does is just puts a more modern look. And the truck's lowered, those big truck wheels, they just look stuffed in there. So it goes from like this weird pudgy cartoon look to more like a performance vehicle. Ever since I found these gems up on Bill's Hill, I've had visions of grandeur forming in my head. So the idea is just put some walls on this thing and just wing it.
Okay.
We've got that and those.
Okay.
And how it looks, it will be determined as it develops.
All right.
This is a match made in heaven. Now all that's left is to put it all together.
So we're just gonna come in here and draw a line. We're gonna get rid of this whole piece of tubing, and it'll start new with our shopping cart corral.
I think so. Every time you go to the supermarket from now on, you're gonna be thinking,
Yeah.
truck beds everywhere, full
Yeah.
of shopping carts.
Exactly.
Maybe you could start with a grinder on these things. And I'll just plasma cut through the sheet.
Okay.
And then we'll just pop each side off. So if you work on one side and I'll work on this side. This is the same mode of operation as the front of the truck. Get rid of the ugly and just make it better. Beyond the time-saving aspect of using these corrals, I think the finish of them actually is appropriate for this rustic look. Does that work for you?
It works.
I could see Dominic has turned the corner on this project. He's 100% on board with this concept, but of course, the #1 naysayer is always close by. He's never seen anything like this. Look at that. He's just like, what did I just see? Because it's a pickup truck, we're gonna have bed sides. I got this rusty steel plate and we're gonna trace it to fit, plasma cut it, and weld it on. As much as I like working alone, to get the thing finished, you need extra help. It doesn't mean I got a casting call. Very selective, only the elite. This round really looks good with the roundness of the truck, but then we'll take that square tube and we'll make that an element for all the trimmings, right from the front to the back.
Same as the front bumper.
Yeah, I think we'll just cover that. See, the cool factor of this concept is it's not just flat, it's dimensional. So you're seeing this round tube and backed up is a flat wall. So it really looks dimensional, as well as the color contrast. As crusty as it is, it's got a cool look. It's not looking like a cart corral anymore, is it?
No.
This is like a freaking work truck. There's still a few loose ends in this rear section, but we've made a ton of progress in establishing the cool look of this bed.
It's gonna turn into the perfect hot rod working man's farm truck.
So this old switcheroo with the shopping cart corral, you ain't seen nothing yet.
All right.
I'm going to Bill's tomorrow. We got a whole new pile of junk coming in. So basically went back to the original design. And I thought it needed more, but it didn't. So what I did was started building on the rear just to kind of take a rear 3/4 view. This is the bare bones of the operation. All of this is going to get sheeted back in. This is all just the fabrication to be super strong. And then to finish off the visual part of it, I'm going to put a small tailgate on it, maybe around this tall. Bill had a whole ton of this stainless steel angle iron, and it's too good to pass up. This tailgate needs to function like any other tailgate on a truck, but it's got to fit the style of what we've been building so far. I don't need it to fall all the way down. I'm going to want it to fall pretty much level, horizontal. Like any other truck, I need something else to hold the tailgate horizontal for loading and unloading. Fortunately, in Bill's pile of stuff, I spotted a crusty old chain. So, you can see that thing is aged to perfection. Sometimes you need a piece of chain that's been sitting in a puddle for 15 years. Today was the day. It's a trip. It's got a funky beat, and I can really bug out to it. All right, hopefully I learned how to measure. Man, that is one burly tailgate. It's just like every other old farm truck. You put one more piece of chain right there. Tailgate looks good. The last fabrication detail on the rear of this is to just sheath in this area below it where the license plate's gonna go. So weird how this works. That just did exactly what that side panel did yesterday. You're on a roll, you're trucking through it. I don't like it. Right from the start, I was thinking that this was just gonna have a plate covering it so you wouldn't see the rear suspension, and as soon as it was in place, all the plans changed. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but you got this kind of, very mechanical structure. You're seeing the mechanical stuff, and then you come in there with this, and there it is, it's just a big slab wall. It's hard to describe how one little piece can change, this entire rear look of the vehicle, but just in looking at it, it makes a perfect example. I can be, impulsive. I can be impulsive. Come back and this whole thing's cut apart because the license plate doesn't look right. The theme here is clearly less is more. I tore all that heavy metal off the truck trying to make this massive thing look a little bit lighter duty. truck looks better by the lack of extra stuff. All right, so next course of action is to get this cab looking a little bit better. Nothing wrong with Christmas, but the red and green kind of keeps it pigeonholed. This vinyl sticker, it worked well for its previous life, so I will bring out my laser gun and I'm gonna laser them right off. Wow, if this is what the truck looked like when he put the stickers on, that's pretty wild. Now that I'm pulling these stickers off, I never really paid any mind to it, but there is a painted sign under here. There's a texture of brush strokes. I see an S. This is like an excavation project. We found the owner. We found Ray Dennison. If he was around today, I'd like to have a little talk with him about what this truck's been through. That way he knew when he came out of the bar at night which truck was his. It's like, I think there is some advantage to having a logo on the side of like a working truck. I'm just not sure that this one is right for the truck specifically. This green stripe is not helping the truck in any way. I think bringing it back to just one color is the ticket. The whole plan here is minimalist, so I sanded off this green stripe and in doing so, hit bare metal. I'm just gonna take some spray cans and lay it on there. Hopefully the color works. Truck's really coming together. Every little thing helps. I got one more idea that I think is really gonna cement it. Scratch is big into vintage, period correct stuff, so this project is right up his alley.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's
so
it.
nice.
Yeah. My idea for this was, I like some kind of sign on the door. I love the script. Where does orange truck come from? Was it like an orange grove in Florida or something?
So every time I would go somewhere, people would just walk up to me, hey, is that your orange truck outside?
It's like
so
a
I'm
gold
like,
car.
I just wrote orange truck on the side of it so everybody would know that that's orange truck.
Perfect.
Aren't you glad I drove it today?
Yeah. I mean, yours is orange. What about like old red?
It's like old red or old red.
I like old, like with the little
L and the
apostrophe, yeah. And I was thinking, I love this edge striping that you did on yours.
Yeah.
I definitely want that. Because before with the big grill, you didn't see this at all. So it's like, I love those little whiskers coming off.
Okay. There's all these like really nice accent lines here and here that should just be like highlighted a little bit. We have that belt line up there and stuff like this. And like you said, the whiskers here and here.
And also something that would be like a classy work truck. So you show up and you look respectable. It's not like all rockabilly'd out or anything.
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't need to look like nonsense. It needs to look like a work truck.
My favorite thing is to work with other artists because if you try to instruct them, you're not going to get the maximum potential. So you got to let them roll their dice, do whatever they like, and then, kind of take it in. Do whatever you want. I got a couple errands to run. Could take all day. So I'm looking forward to what you do. Like I say, no demands, do your thing.
You don't want to talk about the...
Nope.
Okay.
I want to be surprised.
Artist freedom.
Yes. I'm looking forward to see how this pans out.
So right now I'm just kind of like brainstorming and then jotting down my ideas. I remember my uncles walking around with like a match in their mouth all the time. Maybe do the old and then the little mark to the side could be a match. I kind of like that, like a little blue tip match with some fire coming off of it. With this, I'm trying to make it look old. If I would have painted that solid, 30 years from now, it would have faded like that. It's so good to work with Ian because he just trusts me and I can just do whatever I want. The first time I met Ian, I interviewed for a job to work for him. We kind of always stayed in touch. We were around the corner from each other. So when he needed pinstriping work, I was there to help. A little maroon drop shadow here, so I wanted it to be darker than the body. It needed that pop, Oh wow, yeah, that looks way better. So I'm just gonna do little accents around these edges here. Von Dutch is the modern day pinstriper, that he basically invented that. Somebody had messed up a gas tank and they wanted him to just kind of like outline it and like hide all the scratches. He just became more and more known for doing that, and that's where pinstriping kind of came from.
This project's a bit different than my other ones simply because I didn't know what I had to do here. It would be way easy to go off the rails like I typically do, but fortunately I was able to keep it in check. If I drove it over here to Bill's, and there's one thing that Bill loves, it's old international trucks.
Wow, Ian, You've arrived.
Got a little change. Looking a little different than it did last time.
Woo! You're another miracle.
Old Red at your service. One surprise that Bill brought over was these back rims. They are massive. I love the aluminum rims, but then when you brought in those big super singles in the back, it's like race car stuff. I mean, looking at it in the shop, you don't even get the vibe until it's outside.
It looks like a big pickup truck.
Yeah. The thing is, I saw this truck in a completely different light than what was presented. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, love it. I got plans already. You know, with a very limited budget and short time frame, a couple key choices really transformed the rig. You know, the first day when I was just taking stuff, I didn't know if I was going to end up with like a lot of aluminum features on this or whatever, but you know, literally you see everything came off of the hill and it just kind of melded together.
Those shopping cart holders or whatever you call them, I thought when you were taking those, I thought, what in the world is he going to do with those? I made some comments about the shopping cart corrals, but they are absolutely perfect on there. Just a great, great job.
I know you're looking to get out the door and sell it, so.
That was the plan. Like all your projects you do, always fall in love with them. I think I'm going to keep it for a while and cruise it. Why wouldn't I cruise it around? Look at it. I'm excited. Now, I'm going to bring my wife down and see if she's excited.
I know, that was the kid. That was part of the deal from the start. But all we did was move the stuff from the top of the hill back down to the bottom.
Yeah. How could you not love that truck?
You got to drive this thing. It's the same truck, but it's way cooler. It actually has suspension now, so.
Well, I need some firewood. You want to go with me and we'll pick it up?
Yeah.
You
cool
got
deal.
time?
Yeah, I got all day. That's what I
Okay.
do.
Let's
I hang
do it.
around. My friend Ken, he's a car guy. I've known him from way back, and he called me about this new project.
Welcome to the Orange Empire Railroad Museum.
Yeah, I'm all about new projects.
Man, if I got something for you, bud.
Ken's been telling me about this train museum he's a member of, so when he called me in, I didn't know what to expect. When you say museum, I'm thinking about like a room with, you know, maybe little trains in it. Look at this place. It's like a whole environment.
It really is.
I met Ken a while back at a car show dedicated to the art and life of Big Daddy Roth, and we've been friends ever since.
I wanted to bring Ian in and show him around, and before we took him to show him the project, I just wanted to whet his appetite. So I've got my buddy Ken over here, who's a huge fan of the show,
Right
which
on.
I figure I'd warn you first.
Okay, so it's Ken and Ken.
Ken and Ken,
double trouble.
we're a franchise.
Okay, all right.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, man.
You know, Ken can give him like the best tour of the property. And he is the guy to show him around, have some fun, and then we'll show Ian the project.
I understand trains, right? But these guys are like super rail fans, and they know everything about everything. Oh man, so this is a crane that's a train. It's one thing to have a collection, but the fact here is that everything works. Oh, it's on.
And there we have, well, our lights are on now.
It's like a giant model railroad, if you will. Look at all this stuff. This is my kind of place.
This is our other project, the 508 from San Diego.
1937. No wonder they want to make America great again. What do I have to do to this one? Chop the top? You want to lower it a little? Oh man, look at this thing. Whoa, this is super old. It's crazy cool.
What do you think of that?
Unreal, it's like a giant toy train.
Well, this is like the Ward Kimball collection. Ward was one of the 9 old men at Disney. He was like one of the great animators and directors they had over there when they first started. He also got Disney into trains back in the 30s, and that's why there are trains at Disneyland, and we have examples of that here. This Chloe is actually a full custom garage type build. He did to this what you do to cars.
These guys are fanatics, and they definitely want to immerse me in the entire rail experience.
But this isn't really the reason we brought you here, bud. I need you, so come on with me.
Finally, all the suspense has led up to this.
What do you think?
That's right up my alley. I mean, I don't know if you heard about it, but this is what I do.
Yeah.
This is the iconic classic Ford pickup truck, you know, model AA, the bigger truck, and why it's in a train museum is beyond me. Looking to get out of the train business and into the hot rod truck business.
Yeah, well, you know,
Perfect.
I finally had a car project in the barn.
It doesn't look like a complete truck from this vantage point.
Well, it was a complete truck when we rolled it in here. It had everything.
Oh,
I
I
mean, it's
see.
all here in pieces. We just came to a point where we needed Ian.
I mean, it's not too far gone for sure. I work with much rougher things. This is right in my reign, man. It's totally
Yeah, but
cool.
the thing is, dude,
Yeah.
we want to make this a train. We want to make this a rail truck. We want to put it on the tracks.
Hey, I think it could happen.
I mean, it's not a hot rod, like 4 wheels and out you go. This is such a one-off and such a weirdie. And I'm like, nobody can do this but Ian.
So what's the gimmick? You need like another
Train wheels.
train wheels
We gotta put-
on the pickup truck.
Yeah.
Like the little engine that could? I think I can. This isn't a restoration by any means.
No. This
is
needs to
gonna
look like
need-
it sat out in the Nevada desert for the past 90 years.
You pretty much want a rail car that acts like a flatbed truck.
Absolutely. I don't have to worry about Ian because I know I just, here's the welder, here's the grinder, I'm gonna go make cartoons, bye. Right?
Usually when I see a project, you know, thinking 10 steps ahead of what I'm about to do, we're opening these doors and I'm drawing a blank.
Good morning, Grizzly Flats, huh?
We can get this thing out of the way, then we'll have plenty of room to get in and get the bed off.
I don't know if we can, but you can.
The awesome part about working in this train museum is you get the full hands-on, behind-the-scene access. It's just super heavy duty.
Yeah.
It's like, why does the door need to be that strong? Give it a little juice and let her warm up. They're letting me try everything out. Yeah, I gotta say, I never expected to ever drive a train, but here we are. My brain's been spinning, man. It's a pretty major task, you know, to put a truck on the tracks. You know, it's very clear that that axle doesn't fit. So just like you back half a race car, you cut the back of the chassis off.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna do the same thing with this. As if you were tubbing a car, we're gonna narrow the frame rails and do major surgery on the axle.
I was really, really pleased that he didn't flinch. He didn't do this. We didn't know what we were gonna get from me when we showed it to him because he wasn't really prepped all the way. It just pulled him, and I was so happy to see that.
In simplest terms, that truck is this wide and the tracks are that wide.
Get the Sawzall out, rock and roll. When I was on the hunt for this truck, I would look at a couple of trucks, and the owners of the trucks would be like, so you want to cut my truck up and make it into a train? Get out of my yard. It's a no-holds-barred thing, and we're not restoring an old truck. That's not what we're here for. We need a functional rail truck.
Cut through here and here, narrow it, and then just like when you're boxing a frame for a V8 engine or something, plate this right through. That ain't going anywhere. We are not building your average train, you know. This place is an awesome museum. We're gonna build something in line with the caliber of stuff they have, like a full custom rail truck. Let's get dirty. So, it's 5, 15. We need to narrow this thing 15 inches. You know, you figure a truck like this, 1928, and it's 2018, that's 90 years old. Some people might get nervous. This might be the cringe moment. The only way to get started is to cut it up. We don't have a chassis jig, so I'm gonna set up something that's as square and frame-worthy as possible. This frame jig would never be adequate for a race car or even a street car, but it doesn't need to steer, it's on rails, so it's gonna work. The main challenge here is just keeping the thing square and attaching it as it was where it wasn't. It's exactly what it was, it's just narrower. This was the easy part. The challenge is still on the horizon. I knew Ken had a real strong concept of where he was going with this project, but I was kind of in the dark. This photograph illustrates perfectly what his concept is.
They did what they could with what they had on site. This is a great merging of our railroad knowledge and Ian's hot rod knowledge and, you know, his fabrication knowledge. Sort of what we're recreating, it's a truck from the last days. There are things we have to do, you know, with the motor that we have. This is the actual motor out of the truck. The drive line's the same, nothing's gonna change. It's just that you know, that's the train guys. You know, that's us. We're just gonna see. I mean, that's a lot of tonnage to move. As far as Ian goes and the project, if you can make the photo for us or anything close, we're good, we're golden. We're not even gonna paint this thing. I want it to be a rolling tetanus shot.
If you want to look like that, we can do it for sure.
That's what we want. Right. And the good thing is, I found a wheel set out in our yard.
Awesome.
So if you want to come out, then we'll get it over here and we can mock it up.
Look like train wheels,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, they're freight car wheels.
Oh.
What we'll do is we'll do what the railroad does. We'll put it on the turntable.
What the heck you got going on here? That's like a giant freaking bridge.
Yeah, and you're gonna push it.
You know, from the full tour of this place, the behind the scenes, to driving the train, you know, Ken's like, no, we're not going to just put the wheels over there. You're gonna see how the turntable works, and we're gonna direct it down the lane and then back into the shop as the train would roll. Totally cool.
Yeah.
Oh, look.
Look at this, dude.
Ta-da.
Oh, yeah.
That looks like the photo. It's a truck on train wheels. This wheel set, as it is appropriate for the vehicle. It totally works, but mating this to the Ford axle is where the challenge begins. Those train wheels are sitting way inboard on this axle. So if you guys can help me out, I need to get rid of these tires, this brake drum, and these wishbones. Ken and his crew are gonna break down and prepare that axle. You know, I got a million other things I'm thinking about to get started with, make this project happen. So, you know, onward and upward. Just like any other project, you know, this thing has a deadline. The museum is having an event, it's Christmas season. They want to include this rig in their Christmas lineup. Time is of the essence. Silver Surfer. It's time for a little parts gathering. I'm looking for a few things. I'm looking for some rods, looking for some angle, I'm looking for some plate. Not only does the stuff have to fit the look, you know, it has to function. It has to feel like it's old and crusty. I mean, it takes a trained eye to really spot what you need. So you got angle iron, flat bar, heavy duty, but that's what we need. We need one of these in here, like a 1/2 inch thick. You know, Ken told me if it's too big to carry, he could just send the forklift over, and I'll grab some of the smaller stock. This is like shoe shopping, you know? What style looks the best, what style fits. This is exactly what's on the drawing. This matches the turnbuckles, this diameter. Driving around this place, I mean, there's potential everywhere. You know, there's a lot of train parts, but there's a lot of other awesome sauce. Oh man, this thing is toast. Got totally burned up. You know, I've done a hot rod fire truck, and this would be an awesome contender. Come on, look at the cool factor. There's 2 leaf springs right there. Oh, that's exactly what we need. See that? They got eyelets on both ends. We got the rods for the front cow catcher. We got leaf springs. We got some angle iron. We got a line on the plate, and we evaded a giant witch. I'd call that a successful outing. You're gonna trip out when you see this. I ordered some really heavy steel plate from the museum guys. You know, they have a forklift and a torch. I sent them my measurements, and it's already here. I measured the outside as wide as those running boards, so once it's on the truck, I got stuff I can work with. Yes, now we're getting somewhere. Ta-da! For the last part of this adventure, you see this going right in here like that. So this is just the base, you know, this plate, as heavy and complex as it was, is just the start of the whole look of the front end. Right now, it's starting to look like that picture. Making sure the proportion is right is the critical element, you know, that's the big challenge of this. First thing I have to accomplish is assembling the headlights, and then I can build the cow catcher. Thing is, this truck came into the museum as a complete vehicle. Ken says the parts are all here, they're just stashed around. Hopefully he has 2 good headlights. Otherwise, it's a knuckle sandwich. Christmas is in full swing in Grizzly Flats. People say it's a complete car. I'm like, oh yeah, I've heard that. Oh, cool, look at this windshield. Headlights, groovy. That's what I'm talking about. Without those, we're kind of stumped. And then the gas tank and the hood, perfect. And the light bar, there it is. Stock headlight bar, headlights, hood, gas tank. So yeah, it's a complete truck for sure. Seeing that these parts fit up is a relief, you know, it frees me up to do what I need to. So really the visual aspect is the task here. Headlight bar is pretty much smack center in the grille shell, so I need a riser. I need something to come up off of that flat plate. That headlight bar was made to bolt to that bracket. Look at that angle. I have no way of accurately measuring the photo. It's kind of like a perspective issue. So by fabricating the parts on the vehicle, it gives me a good gauge just visually. You know, if it looks like it, then it's gonna work. Totally looks like a truck, but it's a train. That's what it needed. Gives me a perfect gauge on how wide this front end should be. With the headlights and the grille in place, starting to get a feel for what the dimensions are. The next challenge is figuring out how to make that front cow catcher look as convincing as what I've got so far. This is a little bit of a different workout for me in that typically I'm looking at something and then doing my own thing. Now I'm trying to replicate something. And the challenge is cool, but I still get to do my own thing because I'm choosing the materials and how to go about it. And it's actually a bit of a relief in that there'll be no body work on this. There'll be no sanding. So I'm laying this thing out, trying to do it at an even number. And the more I'm thinking about it, I'm like, wait a second, this is missing a rod. Look, there's no rod here. This one is clearly at the end of the angle. And there's nothing there. The truck in the photo is missing a rod, one of the vertical uprights. It's not there. I'm building it like the drawing, but just because the photo shows some damage, you know, missing pieces, doesn't necessarily I'm gonna build it as bad off as that vehicle was. That's one. I don't want it to look damaged. Something don't look right. Yeah, the whole character of this truck is this front cow catcher. It's way out of proportion. Okay, here it is. So I'm looking at this truck because I'm this tall. I'm looking right in line with the top of the windshield. This viewpoint is looking at the truck like this. I'm trying to judge the photo by the shadow that's cast on it and the angle that the lens was set. You know, I'm standing here at 6'2" looking at the thing. It's a completely different angle from the way the camera was positioned. I think I'm gonna have to take a little artistic license on this. Don't tell anyone. This will be our little secret. I really want that cow catcher to be a little more prominent. Let me raise the truck up 4 inches. This is all just winging it. There's no hard measurements on anything. It's just gotta feel like it looks. Yeah, so I raised it up a little bit and that's what we needed. So obviously, according to the picture, these things aren't straight. They're pitched forward in a V formation, ready to catch cows. So we gotta make these look like that. First step, set up the acetylene torch. Pow! Nice hot stick. Put it right there and give it a bend. This is old school metalwork, you know. It takes fire to bend metal. That's what I'm talking about. Full custom blacksmith. This cow catcher's really taking shape, you know. It may be the best cow catcher I've ever made. I got one more idea that'll really sell it. They were saying that they're fine with this crashed model, but I just can't bring myself to do that. I'll make it a little bit nicer, and then if they want, we'll smash it. But I gotta get this lower portion on to really sell the concept. The last element of the cow catcher is this lower beam you see in the photo. The front end modification is the primary visual thing, you know, that takes you into that train truck experience. You know, there's no roadmap. It's just look at it. It's like it's kind of kicked up. It's definitely been in a collision. It's definitely been used. And, you know, you're really just using all of your senses. As much as it is fabrication, it's total art. Who put these frickin' train tracks in the shop? They're in the way of everything. Okay, same thing on this side, just a mirror image. So the last step, I may do more like this, but that photo showing these rods coming through, actually being bolted together, and I don't have that luxury. So I came up with the oldest trick in the book, the old fake rod scenario. Sometimes tricks are exactly what you need to make things convincing. You know, this hardware is all bunk, but I gotta make it look like it counts. Me, coming from a sculptural background, I worked in an art foundry, so we were doing bronze castings of literal mechanical things. And typically there was hardware presented, but you know, in a bronze casting, it's all one thing. So we would fake welding nuts, screw heads, rivets, etc. to these sculptures. This is basically the same idea. So instead of trying to source out some old hardware that works, which probably doesn't exist, I'm just gonna put these on, and hey, it looks like threaded rods. Check. This thing is looking cool, just like it would have been on the rail line back in the day. Now with this in place, I want to trim the fenders and just get the whole look of the front end cemented. And you can see from the start, you know, I started with that massive plate and just tailored it to fit the dimensions of the real truck. Really satisfying to get this part of it squared away. This is the aesthetic I was really going for. You know, it looks like the photo. The next challenge is getting these train wheels under the rig. So, just as we set up the top side of this, set up the bottom side of that. Coming off of this, we're measuring down to the rim face. Bada bing, bada boom. I'm just gonna tack it in a few places, put it on the axle and test it. You know, once I got it welded up, put it back on the crane, carted it over to the shop. Fortunately, my friend Jeff is there to help me muscle this wheel into place. All right, that's that. Getting this thing on and in place, you know, I kind of wanted to see it roll. You know, that's what this thing does. Now it's the moment of truth. Like butter. This was a big part of the build. You know, I've been sweating this from the onset. This was the uncharted territory, and here it is, a sigh of relief. It won't be fully true and tested until we go down the rails, but this is the first step in solving the problem of the vehicle not having any wheels. So that's a good thing. We got 2 wheels, 2 more to go. I'm gonna do the same thing to the wheel on the other side, but we really have to figure out this front axle, you know? That's a whole different style. The train has not left the station. The whole Grizzly Flats crew is here. The mechanics are on hand. Everybody's pitching in to get this thing finished. It looks pretty loose, but we're making progress. Time is of the essence. The whole task with this project was to get the truck to look like the photo. What I need to do is get this front axle in place and get the truck on the rails. The whole crew is on lunch break, and while that's happening, my lovely assistant and I have the ability to get this thing on the wheels. This has to look like the picture, so once I got all the machine work done, I put these wheel caps on and weld them in place, so now it simulates a solid wheel. All my calculations proved solid on the rear end. The wild card at this point is the front axle. It's come in late last night, and now I need to figure out how to attach it to this rig. There's a shop up past Fresno, California called Hillcrest, and they custom machined this front axle. Just looking at it was a relief to see that it was already in gauge. You know, it was as wide as the track needed to be, so no modifications. I got my buddy Jeff on hand. He's gonna help me get this thing in place. So looking at the picture, the thing that's determining our proportion is this shackle in the front is looking like it's attached just about where the headlight is. Found these leaf springs out on the back 40. I'm thinking about the same thing as I've done through the whole truck. You know, scavenger hunt, grabbed every part I could find that looks old and looks like it fits the photo. So we don't have U-bolts, so we're just setting up a series of 2 plates that will grab this box. The thing about springs like this, as it stretches, it gets longer. So this shackle always makes it go back into place. It's kind of like an inch board. What's not to like about that? Oh, it's such a victory. I gotta say, just getting this thing on 4 wheels, I feel good.
Definitely works. It's a train truck.
Let's get everybody in here and slam this thing together. There's still a ton to do. I'm looking forward to seeing this on the tracks. Just like everything in the shop, when it's outside, it's a whole different thing. Their mission of me following the photograph, I think I accomplished it. The use of all the old parts, the scavenger hunts, everything lends itself to this look. The way all the fabrication is, everything is torch cut, it's rusted, it looks like it could have come out of the mine. When you stand back and look at it, you really get the vibe,
It's a gift. It's such a joy to have this here at Grizzly Flats. You really, really did a terrific job.
For using absolutely, no new material besides the front truck, right? That's it. Everything is out of the yard. It worked out great. The last hours of this were just details. I found a bunch of scrap wood, made the bed look like the photo, a couple other things in the front suspension. I loved that dump bed so much, so I retained that exactly as it was, but it's all custom. It's all narrowed out, C-notched, and super strong.
You hot rodded it.
Exactly,
Yeah,
100%.
Oh man, that is so cool. So basically the back of the truck now is hot rod technology and railroad technology together. He's made this fusion, which is amazing.
I'm super proud of it, man. It's nothing I expected walking in the door.
The main thing for Ian was to come in and get him to do the fab work and match the photo, and he did it exactly. And it's wonderful. Just the look on the crew's face. They've been crushing that motor and transmission and everything. There's been working a lot of hours and everything else, and it just, The motor's completely rebuilt, transmission's rebuilt, everything's all set. We had a faulty head gasket. And when you're running with Ian, it just takes one thing and you start to drop back.
Working with any antique thing, there's a million things that can go wrong. So they had an issue with the head gasket last night. We're gonna have our test run with the assistance of old Smokeless. I'm getting in that thing. This is an antique vehicle, so it's got all the clunks and screeches and everything. We are on the rails. Pretty interesting. It's a very tactile experience. There's no steering, no brakes, no throttle. You're just cruising. Man, this thing rides like it's on rails. I can't believe how it handles. It's kind of like having a chauffeur. Right turn, Jeeves, right turn. Just having you burn some calories for me, man. I did all the work this week. Somebody fix me a beverage. All's well in the world, Did a couple of revolutions on the turnstile, and it's time to go back to the shack.
Will there be anything else, Mr. Roussel?
Take me home, Jeeves.
Country road. Hold still, don't go anywhere.
My takeaway from this is steam engines. I am in love with them. Now, you walk into the museum, so you see people dressed in their uniforms, and they're really being the part of the whole train thing, and now you understand why. It is like super rich in history, and that's what the passion is.
I think he's got the bug now. I think he's got the train bug. Ian said he'll be back. My favorite part of this whole build has been watching Ian work, For me, I got to be the tourist in the strange land of Ian. It was really, really cool.
All right, well, my job is done here. Put my cape on. And, oh, wait a second.
Just hang on 1 second.
But wait, there's more. Well, it is Christmas, right?
Yeah, it is.
Wow. Let's see what we got.
Let's see what you got.
Let's see what you got.
Oh, man, of course. What better than that? Right on.
For the house, man.
Oh, yes, exactly. Lo and behold, what would you expect as a gift from a bunch of train fanatics? That is rad.
Thank you, buddy.
That's totally awesome. Thanks, Jingles.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks, fellas. That's awesome.
Thank you,
Cool,
brother.
man. Right on.
Thank you so much.